Hello and welcome back to Creepy Encounters. We have some new real-life creepy encounters for you today straight from Reddit. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the videos and keep your windows locked. In today's video, what is not illegal but is creepy? There are still US states where you can marry a child if their parents consent to the marriage. At that point you can have sex with the child. If the child wishes to leave, they cannot seek a divorce because they are still a minor and thus not old enough to initiate the legal proceedings. I think it's much worse than just creepy, but it is creepy. Walking right behind someone on an otherwise empty sidewalk. Even worse when you're walking down a sidewalk and someone else is walking on an aligning sidewalk and then merging onto the one you're walking on at the exact moment you're walking past them, making you walk next to each other. Paparazzi. It's ridiculous that they're basically allowed to stalk and harass people because it's their job. I don't know how they're able to live with themselves. Tried to stay at a shitty motel with bars on the window in Tacoma, stretching my legs while my friend checked in. A cop comes up and asks if I'm here for hookers or heroin. I tell him we're tourists staying the night before seeing the Space Needle the next day. He responded with good luck and walked off. When we get in the room, one of my friends asked what the smell is and I'm like, yeah, that's stale crack smoke. Also, there was apparently a bring your own light bulb policy. We collectively decided that none of us wanted to get raped or stabbed by a crackhead that night, so we left and stayed at my friend's dad's place. The amount of private information pertaining to your home/marriage/permits that are readily available to the public. I'm an insurance agent, and if I can't get a hold of a client to get info on their house, I go to the county assessor's site. Depending on the county, shit can get real. Some counties only state the basics: address, date of sale/chain of title, amount, and plot of land. Some counties, however, list literally everything about your house. And if you follow the chain of title and go digging around on those super specific websites, you can find marriage and divorce decrees, permits, licenses, etc. You can get a pretty damn good picture of someone's life if you look hard enough. Those TV shows about a high school teen's sex life. It's one thing to have that part of the story, cause of course it's teenagers, but having whole ass shows centered on it is weird AF. Visually lusting after people in public places. There was a man 2 years ago in my city who would park his car and use binoculars to stare at women in public places, and even go inside places with the binoculars and check them out in the stores, etc. He would have his tongue out, do a weird smile, and make other creepy gestures when he did it, and when people called him out on it, he would admit to it and say it's his freedom. To make matters even more disgusting, he would even look at underage girls. It got to the point where he was kicked out of several public places in the area. The police were contacted after several people filmed him, and unfortunately, there is nothing they could do. Every public place in the world is free to kick him out, but there is nothing illegal about checking out people in public. He can look at anyone he wants. Anyone can come onto your property, and it is legal unless you put up a no trespassing sign. Learned this past summer when a creepy neighbor tied a white balloon outside of my bedroom, and when I opened shade in the morning, there it was. Cops said it was okay BC I didn't post a sign, who knew? Filming and harassing PPL via filming, in public. I get it, you have no expectation of privacy in public. Just because you can do something, doesn't mean you should do something. Edit, and I'm not talking about PPL who have a legit reason to film, either because someone is harassing them, car accident, or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about PPL shoving cameras in PPL's faces to be a nuisance, screaming First Amendment, stalking women by taking their pictures and using the law to continue to harass them, or such tactics as the above just to be a pain in the ass because you can. Hanging out in parks in the summer/fall and shamelessly ogling underage girls' cross-country teams as they stretch before runs. When my cat licks his butt for a while, then stops and gazes off into the distance with that 1,000-yard stare. What the hell is he contemplating? Crushing over a girl for 9.5 years and generally being a creep about it. That was a reference to Gunther from Friends BTW. Dark web chat rooms. Like damn. Sometimes people on there are normal, but most of the time those are the creepiest people I've ever come across. In state I live in, you can have sex with a male goat but not a female goat. I have no idea what these farmers have done. Lolly/shota porn, at least the drawn kind. Yeah, it's not illegal, but I'll judge the hell out of you if that's what you get off to. No, she's actually 3,000 years old isn't a valid excuse. Apparently it's not against the law for a police officer to have sex with a person who has been arrested and is in their custody. At least in NY anyway. Some posse just got off scot-free for doing this a few months back. The victim claims it was rape. Being an adult man alone at a playground. That's one that I think is bullshit. I've had down days where I walk around the neighborhood and a playground is there. No one is there, so I just sit on a swing and rock back and forth for a few minutes. I hope that's not creepy, because if it is, it's bullshit. I'm just a flesh and blood human like anyone else. I'm not there to creep. Especially if no one is there. I was just using the Google Maps satellite images to look at a trail, and I scrolled to my neighborhood. I saw who had a pool or a trampoline in their backyard. I was basically peeking over my neighbor's fences, and I felt creepy. Depending on where you are, beating it to lolly, shota hentai. It's not illegal, but when you go around bragging about your lolly waifu and actively fawning over younger characters in anime, it's fucking creepy, and you should probably stay at least 1,000 feet away playgrounds and schools. I lived in US for a while, and I heard from my friends that you can legally marry a child if their parents give consent, which is absolutely disgusting because then you're legally able to have sex with it. But the worst thing is, my girlfriend has an uncle who has been married to an 11-year-old kid. In some states it is legal for two kids the same age to have sex. Like for example a 14-year-old and another 14-year-old have sex. Perfectly fine, it is just frowned upon. Since I'm 14, I somewhat like that it is not illegal and it is legal in my state, but it is still somewhat creepy. Photographing children in the playground from your backyard that overlooks said playground. You will get some irate fathers threatening to trespass on your private property to assault you and destroy your equipment, DSLR camera, parabolic ear, spotting scope, and tripods. But in reality they are the ones breaking the law. Especially when you live in a state with castle doctrine and stand your ground laws. That playground has been deserted lately anyway. Making the rule of hall passes for public schools, and once you run out you're screwed, and guess what, when you're a female you run out of passes pretty quickly, and then some teachers/professors refuse to let you use the restroom. Oddly enough, even female teachers would not let us go, even though they should have been able to put two and two together. I actually got yelled at more than once, but one time in particular because I needed to change my sanitary, and so I quietly went up and asked the teacher. He informed me I had no passes in my book left for rest of the semester. So I loudly announced that he would be having a nice bloody mess to clean up all week. Yes, I shared too much info, but I think his arrogant self finally got the point. I will not sign a form as messed up as that. Purity culture is messed up. I don't care if you wait until marriage, just don't push your beliefs on others. I love God is Grey podcast with Brenda, I forgot her last name, I am sorry. She talks about the danger in purity culture. I am not an atheist, but I agree with Jacqueline Glenn on her views of purity culture. In Canada, trespassing is not, itself, a crime unless done after dark. So I could stare at you through a window at dusk, and that is fine until you open the door, come outside, and tell me to leave. Me just randomly clicking on Redditors' accounts, scrolling through seeing what kind of things they like and looking for any scraps of information about them. Then try and give an assumption of what kind of person they are and what they look like. Then I go back to scrolling through Reddit for no reason. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more real-life creepy encounters around the world. See you in the next video. Bye.